Hey, y'all, it's Thursday. It's another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. Welcome back. We're glad you're here. And if you are wanting and if you need to see a brand new review of a brand new optic, if you woke up today and said, you know what, I need to see something brand new, this is the show. Welcome back. It is your favorite night hunting addiction enablers. And with us, as always, Mr. Jason Robertson, Outdoor Legacy. And Jason, we've got a review that you and I are both excited about sharing because that means we don't have to have people call and ask, when is it coming? Because it's here. So
right.
Thank goodness. It's an exciting day.
So, yeah, we are talking about the Pulsar Talion XQ38. And I know we do a lot of reviews, and Hans and I always say, oh, we're excited, and this is a big review. And we say that a lot, and it's true. But I got to say, this is one of the bigger reviews we will do this year. And I'm going to tell you why it's exciting for Hans and I, because we have had this scope for several months and we have been using it for a long time. And we had it for a long time when we couldn't say that we had it for a long time. Exactly. We were under non-disclosure with Pulsar testing these units, and we absolutely, I'm just going to spill the beans, we love this scope. We think it is fantastic, so it was very, very difficult for us to not talk about it. But now the cat is out of the bag. It is official, and we can tell you all the good stuff. And I'm going to tell you something that we've got. We got a lot of. We've got a lot of footage out of this scope, guys. So if you want to see, hog and coyote footage of what it's going to look like, all kinds of different distances, we've got it because we had this scope, like I said, for a long time in the field. So this review is not one of those where Hans and I had to kind of rush through and really, get out there. We have been sitting anxiously trying to not spill the beans and release this show early. So
it's been tough. Because
every
every week we call Pulsar, we're like, now? They're like, no, not now.
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
No, not now. So
tomorrow.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of content. But what I'll say before we jump in, as always, y'all, with these reviews, we're going to be showing the optic specs, ID ranges. You're going to be seeing video rolling as we're talking, and we're going to give our thoughts on it. But with the closeout of the Pulsar cores, which basically, the most budget-friendly of all the Pulsar scopes, the thermal scopes in their line, that was at $18.99. A lot of people were kind of missing the opportunity to get into a Pulsar product under that $3,000 price range. When that Pulsar core, basically left the lineup, it left their least expensive thermal optic, thermal rifle scope, as the Thermion XQ38. So it kind of left a void there, and I know people have been anticipating this.
Well,
we're going to talk.
Hold on real quick, Hans. Don't forget about the Thermion Xm30 that did come along. That was about $2,300. It was only here for about a year. It wasn't here that long.
It was here and then gone like nothing.
It was, and it was. Everybody wanted them.
Right.
They were very, very hard to get. It was a 3.5 power fixed focus unit. But we got something way better.
I totally forgot about that because that thing seemed like it was here for no time at all before it was discontinued.
Well, they were so hard to get. Yeah. They were just they came in, we couldn't get them, then they were gone.
So now we're excited to talk about this, and you know what? We're going to share with you why this is better than the old Pulsar cores or even that XM30 Thermion because there's a lot of advantage to this. So. We are going to jump right into the specs. Jason, you want to add anything is there anything we need to mention before we get
I want to say this. If you're looking for this unit or any other, Pulsar thermal optic or any other brand, check us out at outdoorlegacygear.com. If you're looking for something, you don't see it in stock there, give us a call. You never know. We may be having some come in tomorrow that may be in the warehouse getting checked into inventory today. So don't ever let the out of stock sign mean that you think we're never going to get it. So give us a call. If you've got questions about this Talion that we didn't get answered here or anything else, any other optic, call Hans and I. We would love to have your business. We would love to talk to you, walk through all the different options. 877-350-1818. That's how you can get a hold of Hans and I. And we, like I said, we'll be glad to talk to you, figure out if the Talion or some other scope is right for you.
That is right. So jumping on into the specs, we're going to start out with the price. The price on it, $24.99, just under $2,500. This is a focusable. It does have a focusable objective lens, so that's a big difference between this and the old Pulsar core. And if you don't remember the Pulsar cores, you don't know anything about it, just disregard this. But that was one of the big, things that people missed about that, or say that was a big negative, is that it did not focus. But this is a focus.
The Thermion Xm30 did not either.
Exactly.
So
right.
what this is replacing, this is hang on, I'm interrupting your specs. We're getting all off here, but this is the first thermal pulsars ever released under 20. Well, not ever, because you can go way back to the Apexes. Let's say this: in the last 4 or 5 years, the first thermal they've released under $3,300 that is focusable.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
so the price on it,
deal.
$24.99, just under $2,500. It is a 2.5 power base magnification, goes up to 10 power. The field of view, it's a 51.5 foot field of view at 100 yards. Now this is a 384 by 288 thermal resolution, 17 micron. A big advantage for this is it does have rechargeable batteries, but it's a removable rechargeable battery. It's actually the APS-5 removable battery. Our test on it is about a 7-hour runtime. Now, again, our tests are in our offices, so it's 72 degrees. It's going to be a little bit less than that in colder weather, but still a good runtime on one single battery. Again, it is removable, so you can buy a spare extra battery to stick in your pocket if you ever need to stay out longer than 7 hours. It does record video and audio, like a lot of the other Pulsar optics. It is Wi-Fi enabled. The Wi-Fi thing kind of confuses a lot of people. I don't want to jump into it because it's over technical. It's not actually Wi-Fi. So if you're out in the field and you're out in the middle of nowhere, you don't need Wi-Fi to make this option work. It operates more like Bluetooth. So think of it more as it's Bluetoothing to your cell phone and not necessarily Wi-Fi. But anyway, I don't jump off on that deep end. It is Wi-Fi enabled, again, with the Stream Vision 2 app that you can download on your smartphone. One great thing about the Pulsars and the features that the Pulsars come with, they have more reticle options to choose from, color palettes to choose from. They have a new color that they put in there not that long ago on some of the models, and this one includes it as well, as a yellow reticle, and it really helps me, especially being a little bit colorblind. Does have picture-in-picture display. We talked about the multiple color palettes. IPX7 fully waterproof rated. You all right over there?
You're going to have to hold
Yeah. Okay, as far as detection range, it says it's got a 1,475 yard detection range. And let y'all know how that's rated and how they come up with that, the manufacturers. Basically, it's a 6 foot tall target, standing out there at a certain range. So they say that you can see a 6 foot tall target at almost 1,500 yards. The weight on it, it's 25 ounces. Without the mount, if you're gonna, with the mount on, it's gonna add another 3 or 4 ounces. Jason's gonna show this optic here in a little bit. Not very large, not very heavy at all. Doesn't seem very heavy when it's mounted on the rifle. So, as far as ID ranges, let's talk about that. In normal conditions, in good dry weather, obviously humidity is going to affect it anymore. I would say conservatively it could be 250 yards. It probably is going to be a little bit more than that, depending on what you're trying to look at. I mean, if you're trying to ID hogs or a bigger animal, a deer or whatever, it's going to be further than that. Coyotes are a little bit more tricky, depending on where you're hunting and if it's tall grass or whatnot. But that's going to be around 250 yards conservatively on the ID ranges. Now, Jason, you want to add anything? You want to move on into the walk around and what's in the box?
I want to add that I hope Hans has been cutting out my audio because I've been hacking over here. I got a tickle in my throat and started coughing and couldn't quit. So I'm going to try to get through this without coughing. I've been chugging water over
Yeah,
here. So.
you wait
All
till
right, I want
you're
to
gonna
show
start
y'all.
choking whenever you see the editing bill on this episode.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. So I want to mention something real quick. Okay, we're going to come to this. So I hope that you're still watching this video. If you've already bailed out just going through the specs, then man, you've missed everything. But one of the big questions we get, and I'm going to address this, Hans and I will, is this scope a replacement for the Thermion XQ38? Because on paper they look the same. That is going to be addressed here in just a few minutes in depth. So do not step away. Don't fast forward. You're going to want to see that. All right, I'm holding up the box right here. Barely fits in the screen. There we go. Pulsar Talion. You see it. All right, now inside the box, I'm going to get this opened here off camera. There is the standard Pulsar black padded bag. So inside of this bag, let's get in here. Okay. Obviously, the scope will be in there. You will get a wall charging plug here. You can plug this in. It's for your USB cable. You can now. Hans mentioned the removable rechargeable battery. I'll show you that in a minute. You can charge that two ways. So one, you can plug the USB cable that is in this bag here, and this is a Ziploc. You can plug that in to this cable into the wall and then directly into the scope, and you can charge it that way, quick and easy. Or if you want, included is I'll get it out of here, a 2 battery charger. These are for the APS 5 batteries. That's the batteries that these units take. So there is a dual charger. That way you got a spare. You can charge it at the same time. And then there is a rubber eye cup. Again, I hadn't even used this thing. It's in the plastic. So yeah, there it is right there. If you like these, you've got it. That is an option to put on there. To be honest with you, I like rubber eye cups, and I think this scope would be good with one, but I don't know. Something about the way these Pulsars are in the eyepiece, I like them without eye cups. It's got the same eyepiece, the same feel and design as the Thermions. I'll show you in a minute. It's rubberized back there. And so I've really been using it without it and like it. Guys, that's basically it. I mean, so what in the bag, you're basically getting a charger, the USB cables, the wall port, plug, and then I'm getting all this stuff set down. Yep, and then the eye cup. All right, so that's out of the way. Nothing too exciting there, just kind of what you'd expect. But this is the unit right here. Now, the first thing I want to point out, and we'll go over this quickly, is that what you're seeing right here is the Pulsar quick detach mount. This is an upgraded mount. Okay, this is a $99 Pulsar USA quick detach mount. All right, Pulsar USA has this mount made. That's not the mount that comes standard on the Talion XQ38. The standard mount looks more like this. This is Pulsar's kind of their old standby mount they've used for many, many years. And you can see it's long, all right? It's about 7-8 inches long. See all those different holes in it? That is going to allow you to move the scope forwards and backwards. So if you're on a bolt gun and you need to get it further back, that's the mount that you're going to want. Generally, those mounts are not quick detach. They're not returned to zero. So when you mount it, it's there. If you take it off, you're going to need to re-zero or at least confirm and check the zero every time. If you use something like this Pulsar QD mount, this is a return to zero mount. We haven't had any issues with these mounts. It does have a locking QD lever here. So these mounts have been around for a long time and have been very, very good. So if you're putting it on an AR or you're putting it on anything that you want to be able to quickly take it off and on, we highly suggest getting a QD mount. All right, so let me show you a few things about this unit. Obviously, here on the front, we have got, man, my microphone's all we have got the lens cap. It is a spring-loaded lens cap. Right here, and I'm going to turn it this way so you can see it. This is the focus knob. Really like this. It is it's a cool design. It's got this little kind of knob up here on the top, you can see, and so it's really easy to grab that and know where you're at when you're focusing. That's just a cool little feature like that. It's very smooth, very easy to move. Now, not so easy that you're not going to bump it and move it, but it's very smooth and easy. Coming back, this blue button right here, this is going to be your power button. And I'm going to tell you something. Startup time is ridiculous on these things. I don't know what the exact specs say, but here, I'm going to push the button. Press the button, and let's see if it got power. Yep, there it is, and it's on. I mean, I'm looking through it. I mean, it's on. It's less than 3 seconds. Very, very, very quick. Now, on this side right here, this is your USB port. USB-C, so you will be able to charge it that way. You could plug in a USB external battery pack as well. All right, now this is the cool part. This is the first scope, and I'm going to say this, and Hans, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's the first scope. I'm trying to think of the price. I want to say $3,300, and it may be, but I'm going to say at least $3,000, probably $3,300, that has ever had the only battery system that it uses is fully removable and rechargeable. Okay. Now the Pulsar Thermions that we talked about, that XM30, that was $2,300. It had an internal and a removable battery, but this is a totally removable battery. So I'm going to try to show this right here. You're just going to slide this over, and when you do, this slides right up. And the battery is in here. See if I can get it out. There it is. This is an APS 5. All right. So this is the battery that some of the newer Axions use. And it is a different battery than the Thermions. They use APS 2s and 3s. This is a 5. So it goes right back in there. It's locked up. All right. So coming on back. We're almost done. This is your control dial. Now I'm going to show you something that's really cool. This could take you a minute to figure out if you didn't know this, but right here, you see this? I'm going to try to hold this up if you can see it. See this little thing right here? Just looks like part of the scope, but look, see this? I'm turning it. It's actually your scroll wheel. Really cool. Very convenient. So you've got a menu button right here. You press that, it'll open up the menu. And then again, to navigate, you can just turn this little wheel right here, and it clicks. It's not something that I mean, you're not going to just bump it and move it. It takes a little bit of a click. It's really nice. You've also got your zoom button here for your digital zoom. You've got your record button. So anyway, menu is going to be accessed and all right there. Back here, this is your rubberized and magnetic rear eyepiece, and this is where you're going to focus it. So you're going to twist this right here for your diopter focus. That focuses this screen to your eye, specific for you. And then again, if you wanted to put that eye cup on, it's magnetic and it just kind of clips on right there. So that's the quick walk around. Really not a lot to it. It is very simple. You can see here, I mean, it is not that big. I'm able to, it probably looks bigger here on this YouTube video. When you see I put my hands around it, I don't have a tape measure in front of me. Hans, I'm scared to guess what this is. 12 inches maybe? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's not that long. I really, really like this unit and the design. Now, I will tell you, we'll admit it, it looks a little funny. All right. You know, it is, it does. We know that. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But functionality, it's good.
Yep.
I mean, with those controls on the back, I mean, and that little, I don't know what you call that little control dial. I like it.
It's so, the attention to detail and ingenuity in the design is, you can tell this is, you know, seems like a very high-end European made optic. I mean, just really, really smart design on it. And it doesn't seem, when you pick it up, when you hold it, when you shoot it, doesn't seem like a budget thermal, which when people say, you know, $2,500 is budget, I mean, let's face it, that's on the lower end of the price scale of a lot of thermals. So, but it does not seem that at all. Seems like a very, very well made, well produced unit. And so, with that being said, I want to bring up something that you referenced before, but there's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of chatter on the internet, on social media, a lot of misconceptions, and there's a lot of people that are saying, well, because these specs line up, it's very, very similar to the Thermion XQ38, that these are basically going to be the same picture quality. You're just going to be able to get that, that same picture quality for, $700-800 less with the Talion XQ38. So I wanted to bring that up, Jason, because we definitely need to clear that out, because I've heard that a lot. You've heard that a lot. And you and I have looked through both of these optics quite a bit. And, we know, well, I'm going to let you talk about it because we've got a strong opinion on that, I will say.
Yeah. So we're going to do a whole show later in the fall when we have some time on basically judging scopes by their specs and how that's extremely dangerous. So Hans is right. If we just look on paper, and I can tell you the number of times that I've been asked this question, the number of times that I've seen this asked or discussed on social media, it's I can't count it. I mean, it is an everyday occurrence. And I completely understand. And it's a logical question, but there's a lot of misinformation coming from people who have actually never laid their eyes on the Talion. Right. And so when you look at the specs, this is a 384 by 288, 17 micron resolution scope. That is the exact same thing you're going to see in the Thermion XQ38. So, and it's a 2.5 power. This is a 2.5 power. So you go, well, gosh, it's the same scope. They're not that simple. Mm-hmm. It does not work that way. I mean, that would be like saying that, two trucks have the same horsepower. So obviously everything about them is the same. It's just that it's not. I know on paper it might seem that way. Now, this is not to degrade this Talion's quality. It is not. We think it is one of the strongest competitors in this price range. And we consider this, entry level, thermal. Hans said budget, and and a lot of guys are going, gosh, $2,500 ain't in my budget, and I get that, but compared to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, you're getting a lot of bang for the buck here. But if you lay this thing, you don't have to put it side by side. If you look through an XQ38 Thermion and then look to the Talion XQ38, there's a huge difference. There is a absolute noticeable difference. You don't have to be a professional to see that difference. Again, I am not saying that to say this scope is bad. I'm saying it because what I do not want to happen, and I have seen guys online say, oh, well, I was going to buy the Thermion, but why? I'll just buy the Talion. It's the same scope in a different design. Right. Sorry, guys.
I think
Pulsar. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I'm probably going to say what you're going to say, but yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that haven't seen it that are spreading this on the internet, but they are, well, being said, Pulsar is a smart company.
Exactly.
They're not going to produce a $2,500 unit that's as good a picture image or better than their $3,300 unit. I know, there might be a lot of people out there that say, well, don't listen to the dealers because they just want you to buy the more expensive unit. Well, I promise you, it's not working that way, y'all. Again, Pulsar's smart. They're not going to produce this that's going to compete picture quality wise with a Thermion XQ38. It's just, as great as it sounds, it's not going to happen. But that does not take away from the greatness of the Talion XQ38 for what it is. No. A sub $3,000 optic that right now, y'all, has more features than any other scope on the market. I know we've talked about one a couple weeks ago, but this one has even more than that. So I go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this. I'll tell you what I want to do, because I want to talk about this scope and really, I want to get into who it's good for, and I want to talk about some more overall thoughts. But let's get the bad news out of the way. Let's talk about, we always do the pros and cons. Right. So let's talk about those real quick, and then we can really jump into the meat and potatoes of the scope. I'll start this off. The cons, I think that the joke is this, some people look at this thing and they say it looks like a flashlight or it looks like a lightsaber.
It does.
We can joke about it. I mean, it does kind of look like a flashlight. I don't, to be honest with you, it grows on you. You put it on your rifle. I think it looks kind of cool. It's small. It's lightweight. I like it a lot. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I agree. It does kind of look like a flashlight, so we can joke about that.
When the Thermions were released, we were like, man, that's kind of goofy. And now we love the Thermions. The Talions here, and we first saw it, we're like, well, that kind of looks like a flashlight, a mag light, or something like that. But it's smaller than the Thermion. If you had to, you could use it as a monocular. But I think it's the design definitely does grow on you, but it does look like a flashlight. I'll go ahead and say another one of the small negatives that's out there. A quick release mount is not included with the purchase of this. Now, like Jason said, you do have the option of buying or upgrading to one or buying one, but it doesn't come standard. There's some other scopes in the same price range that do come standard with a quick release mount. Again, that wouldn't be something that would be my deciding factor. Other
I mean, it's another $100,
so. But still, with what you're getting, these are very small and trivial negatives that we have about this optic. I'll say that.
Yep. No, I think that's it. I think that's really my only complaints about the unit. I mean, really, I think that non-QD, it'd be nice to have that on there. The darn thing just works. I like it a lot. I want to talk real quick about this battery. So I did mention that it uses this APS-5 battery. That's an $80 battery. That is very affordable to get, about 7 hours out of. I mean, so guys, we're talking about, if you bought one or two of those as spares, right, you're hunting a long, long time, right, even in cold weather. These things are rated for down to negative, I don't know if it's 12 or 14, so very cold weather. Hans, we didn't talk about it either. The recoil rating, 375 H&H or a 12 gauge shotgun. So very high. I mean, 375 H&H, you can kill an elephant with that. So, I mean, these things are, right, they're going to cover anything. Let me say this. If you got something bigger than that, you don't need to be putting this thing on. You don't need to be hunting with it. All right, it's covering everything. But so I do like that about it. That is the highest recoil rating of any thermal scope in this price range. Actually, I think you got to get up into the $6,000-$7,000 range to get into higher recoil ratings than a 375 H&H. Right. So I like that. The battery, man, that's a big deal, guys. Everybody likes rechargeable batteries, but people like them to be removable, yes, and I get it. You want to be able to take it out. You can take this out. I've had people ask me flat out. They say, okay, maybe they don't like the idea of the proprietary batteries. Like, I really wish it was an 18650 or something. But what do you think about this versus just CR123As? Well, here's the thing. I don't mind CR123As. They're not the end of the world. You buy them in bulk. They're not that expensive, but you're not going to get 7 hours on them.
Yeah.
And if I can spend, $70, $80, have one of these as a spare in my pocket, and I can go, let's be honest, 7 hours? Even if you get out there and it's cold and you're recording video and you only get 5 hours. I mean, that's still a lot of hunting. I'm not hunting more than that most nights, okay? Mm-hmm. So you got a whole night's worth of hunting. In worst case, you need a little more power. You got it in your pocket. So I would choose this, long battery life. So I like that. I'll tell you another big deal that not a lot of optics have in this price range right now. I think this will change over time, but it's got audio recording and with the video, right, so audio and video. And I really like that a lot.
Yeah. Good. Definitely a big advantage. People now these days, again, want video recording, and now even increasingly they want audio recording. It's something that you're starting to hear about a lot. But yeah, what you said with removable battery, which is a big deal and not really an option of anything else in that price range. We've talked about how easy the Pulsars are to use, to set up, to side in, the functionality of the whole thing, the menu. I mean, really, I'll tell you, they're probably the easiest. There's another brand that's easy too, but probably the easiest.
They're really
very easy to use. And you get guys that call all the time like, man, I don't like technology. I don't like cell phones. I don't like any of it. And these guys buy these scoops, and you never hear from them again because they get it figured out. So it's always, people get intimidated by technology, and the sight-in process intimidates people a lot. And I think Pulsar's done it and made it as easy as they possibly could to be able to do this. The thing about us and with our customer service, we're there after you purchase it. So if there's ever any questions and you buy it from us, definitely call us. But other than that,
I want to say something real quick on that. I'm going to tell you one reason that I think the Pulsar menu system and all is so easy to use. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. And if you go back 10 years ago to Pulsar's, digital and thermal optics that they had, they didn't have hardly any thermals then. The menu system, this menu that we're at today is built off of that. So it's kind of like buying a pickup truck. If you buy a Ford or a Chevy or something, right, they started working on those things 100 years ago. All right. So it's, they've constantly improved and improved and improved. And next year it's a little better. So that's the same thing with this menu. And that might seem very trivial, but it's not. Again, Pulsar being European, being that they want to pay attention to detail, they want a fit and finish, a very fine product. So they have refined that menu over time. And now it is super simple, very easy to use. But again, they didn't build it last week for this scope. I mean, it's that base system has been around a long time. So yeah, I agree. These are some of the easiest scopes to use. So if you're concerned, hey, I'm new to technology or I don't like technology or what, I would not be concerned about this scope at all.
Way more pros on this. Two small, very negatives about it, I would say, for an otherwise scope that is going to be brought up again, Jason, at the end of the year when we do the best of series. This is definitely going to be in the mix. This is probably going to be, no doubt, one of the biggest selling optics under $3,000. I mean, it's when Pulsar puts out anything, especially if Pulsar puts out anything and it's considered they're a budget optic, people just flock to it. So this is going to be big, and that's why we've been hearing about it for months. People have been asking about it for months. Now, let's turning gears a little bit, talking about who this is good for, because this is a great optic, just like anything else. So doesn't mean it's for everybody. So at 2.5 power to 10 power, who would you say is, I guess, somebody that this kind of fits right into their application?
I think that this is going to be obviously for all hog hunters. I mean, I think just about any hog hunter is going to be able to use this scope. I don't see, there's not going to be that many guys shooting hogs out there outside of this scope's range of capabilities. I think there is a decent amount of coyote hunters that this scope will work for, assuming that they're keeping those shots within that 225, maybe 250. I mean, I think the sweet spot for this scope is definitely inside of 200. But I mean, I think we can ease up a little over that as needed. And so I do think there's some coyote hunters, especially guys that might be, if you're hunting in the Midwest or the Northwest or somewhere where, you can see for a mile and there's not a tree out there, this probably doesn't have the magnification and the range that you might need. You may have coyotes hanging up out there at 250 yards or further all the time. That's probably in the scope for you. Right. But I hate to say it's for everybody because I don't think that it is. Right. But I think if you're looking for an all-around thermal, again, hog hunting, predator, coyote, and you're going to keep those shots mostly under 200 yards. And I'd say, ideally, you'd like to be keeping them under 100, but the scope's fully capable going further than that. I think it's fantastic. I would say this. I think this scope is going to be where a lot of the cold weather guys are going to want to go because of this battery. A lot of guys that hunt in that really cold weather, they get tired of shoving CR123As in there. Those batteries are known to not last that long in the really cold weather. And so a lot of times they'll end up having to run a USB battery pack, which you can do on this optic, but those guys are going to burn through a lot of batteries. And I think the idea of this long-lasting, removable, rechargeable battery is going to attract a lot of them.
I agree. So, I'm going to be honest with you, Jason. When a thermal manufacturer comes to us or we talk to them and they're talking about their game plan for the year coming up, whenever they mention, coming out with a more budget-friendly optic, I get a little bit nervous. I'm sure you do too. It's because the thing is that we say is, okay, what corners are going to be cut? How, because there has to be some corners cut to be able to hit a certain price point. I'm going to tell you what, man, they didn't cut any corners on this. They gave us everything we could have asked for. You're getting great picture image. You're getting a 2.5 power to 10 power optic, which is a good general magnification level to do a lot of different things with. Video, audio recording, focusable, removable, rechargeable batteries. Like you said, sometimes with the internal non-removable battery that concerns people a lot. But this is, fully removable. If you're in cold weather, you can have an extra battery as a spare to just put right in there real quick. Pulsar did not cut any corners on this optic that is, again, more budget friendly than anything else that they have right now for as far as a rifle scope. So good job. Again, Pulsar continues to listen to not just the dealers but the consumers, and I think that they've done a great job. And they've done a great job without taking away from anything else in their line. So this fits perfectly in that $2,500, that $200 to $300 or $2,000 to $3,000 price range. Fits nicely in there. It's a good representation of the company. It's a quality product. When you purchase this, it's different. It's just a little bit different, a little bit higher level of quality optic. But anyway, this is going to be a big seller, y'all. If y'all going to want it, get with a good dealer now, because these things are just going to float out the door, especially going into hunting season.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I keep holding this thing. So if y'all are watching this video and I keep, holding this thing up, it just feels really nice. I mean, this thing is solid, metallic housing. Hans is right, guys. That's one thing about Pulsar, is we say fit and finish, and they've done it on this unit. I mean, this is the real deal. When you get this and you say this costs $2,500 and you put your hands on it, you're not going to be like, oh, well, that feels cheap. Yeah. I mean, you're not. There's a 0% chance of that. Really, really nice. Pulsar did it again, and I agree with Hans. I think for an all-around optic, this is gonna be in the top of what you're gonna be looking at, under $3,000. Again, we just want to be clear. Kind of said it before. If you're looking for that image quality that you can get out there and shoot 3 or 350 if you need to, if you're looking for that longer range, this is probably not the scope. Okay, I mean, you're gonna probably get into that Thermion XQ38. That's what you're gonna get. I had a guy ask that logical question. He goes, okay, so you're telling me it's not as good, but what do I get if I upgrade to the Thermion XQ38? Because it's the same magnification. Like, you're getting a better image. You're paying for that image quality, and that image quality is going to give you a longer identification range and a longer shooting range if you need it. If you don't need it, they got the scope for you right here. Exactly. And so, I think, I know we just kind of keep saying this. We're saying the same things over and over, but fantastic scope. It's the problem with these scopes is going to be getting them. That's going to be it. It's going to be supply and demand, because people are going to eat these things up with the features and the functions and the image quality that you're getting. It holds its own against any other scope in this price range.
I would say, and there's a lot of people also that watch this channel and they say, you know what, Hans and Jason, they say every scope that they review is fantastic. And you know what? It's true, because if you don't see it on this channel, that means it's not fantastic. So if you
hang on. There's a couple exceptions. We might have not had time for something, but he is right. There, if you're curious, if I'm serious about this, if there's a scope that you really are interested in, you think you want, and you're like, these guys have not reviewed this scope, but man, I think I want this. Give us a call. We'll talk to you, and we'll say, oh man, it's a great scope. Gosh, it's on our list to review. We just never had time, whatever. Or we're going to say, hey, listen, here's why we haven't reviewed it. And this is why. We definitely try to keep this show positive, and so that's right. We don't have time to be negative. There's too much time to be positive.
Exactly.
Too many good scopes out there.
So if you want to talk to Jason or I, and you want to know how this scope compares against any other optic in the $2,000 to $3,000 price range, or any other Pulsar optic, give us a call, 877-350-1818. Y'all, I am sitting around all day waiting for you to call, and look forward to talking to you and helping you with your decision. I know it can be confusing, but we're here to help. Again, 877-350-1818. If you say, you know what, I don't need to talk to Hans or Jason because I've already figured it out, you can hop right on the website. You don't have to talk to anybody. OutdoorLegacyGear.com. If you've done your research and you know what, you say, well, Jason's going to talk my ear off and I'm never going to get off the phone with him. I got stuff to do. I already know what I want. Order it off the website. Again, OutdoorLegacyGear.com. If you are interested in any of our past episodes of our podcast, definitely check out the LateNightVisionShow.com. Has all of our past episodes all the way back to number 1. And if you want to go and see what things look like back then, go give it a watch. Don't spend a lot of time on those older ones, so I promise. Stay up to date with the new ones, and we look forward to continuing to bring the show to you on a weekly basis. Now, if you're looking for Jason, you can find him on all the socials at Outdoor Legacy Gear on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. You can find this show on the socials as well. Facebook, you can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Spotify. You can listen on iTunes, Google Play, everywhere else. But definitely stay tuned on that. And then me. You can find me over at Hans ETX on YouTube. You can find me over on Instagram at Hans ETX. And you will not find me any other place other than those two places and this show. So thank you all again.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching the show. We appreciate it. We hope to be back next week with another great review, or just some other topic that has something to do with night hunting, thermal hunting, or hog, coyotes, guns, Second Amendment, whatever it is. Like Hans said, we hope that you enjoyed the show. Like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. But between now and next Thursday, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.